This episode of the Opie Radio podcast sponsored by BlueChew.com. Promo code Opie, O-P-I-E. Basically, I'm giving you a boner for free. Give it a try. BlueChew.com. Promo code Opie, O-P-I-E. Today on the podcast, one of my friends, really funny comic, Brad Williams. That's right, Brad Williams. I'm going to be calling him in just a minute here. But I figured, why not do a little comedy from Brad Williams to get us started?
All right, let's talk. Tall fuckers, okay? Let's talk to you, okay? And I say tall, and that includes anyone 5 foot and above, okay? You're tall to me, okay? Let's talk. There's something that I have an issue with that we need to discuss. Stop pissing in my urinal, okay? Stop pissing. Yes, my urinal. See, the men are laughing because they know what this is. Women are like, do you get a urinal? Yes, I have a urinal. In every bathroom, in the Laugh Factory bathroom, there are 2 urinals that are they're normal size, and then there's one urinal that's way the fuck down here, okay? And that is my goddamn urinal, okay? That is my urinal. You do not piss in it. That urinal's for me, your 5-year-old nephew Zachary, and if you're a guy who has a 2-foot cock, okay? That's about it. And there's only like 2 black guys here, so they can use it. That's about it, okay? Everyone else, don't use. Okay, and I have to talk about this because I was at an airport. I was in the Chicago airport. I flew 4 hours from LA to Chicago. I get out of the airplane. I gotta take a pee break, right? So I'm running in the bathroom, right? And there's 7 urinals. Fuck yes, 7 urinals. And then there's only one of them being taken. Guess which one? My fucking urinal, okay? My urinal. There's a guy. All of them are open. He's just standing at my urinal, and now I gotta stand behind him and do my little dwarf piss dance. And I'm doing it like that. And people just walk in and they see a midget doing a little piss dance like this, and they just assume I'm casting a spell on him. And I did not like that. So as I'm doing the dance, I kind of cleared my throat loudly. I was like, ahab. And he turned back and just, this was his exact face. He just turned back and went, no fucking way. I should have R. Kelly'd his leg. That's what I should have done. Next time, that's what I'm going to do. If I go in there and you're at my urinal, I'm pissing on your leg, okay? Okay, Yao Ming, I'm doing it. I know you're tall. I don't give a shit, okay? It's going to go in the middle of your knee pit. Don't give a fuck. All right,
Hello, sir.
What's up, Brad Williams? How are you?
Good to hear your voice again, Ope. It really is.
It's good to hear your voice. Are you kidding me? I don't see people, man. I'm still in kind of quarantine, but it's kind of hard when you're just staring at the ocean and podcasting. So
yeah, no, I completely understand it. It's strange that you're saying that you don't see people. I mean, it's the point now. I literally had about a 15-minute conversation with a telemarketer a few days ago. Just because somebody called and I'm like, oh, human interaction. This is great. Because I just kind of asked how their job was doing, with quarantine, and we just went from there. And then by the end of it, I'm like, oh, I should probably go check on my daughter.
I laugh because I've done the same thing. We had a problem with cable, I think it was. I don't know. There's been a few dumb problems, and then you're like, oh my God, I got to call customer service. So I'm thinking we might as well make it fun. So me and my wife, we were taking turns. We were kind of tag teaming this person because we really needed something done, and they just weren't cooperating. And then we decided to just start talking to them about 90 Day Fiance.
Oh, you mean the show that saved my marriage during this quarantine?
Oh, really? You guys watch too?
Hell yeah, we do. Listen, I understand that this is a rough time for a lot of relationships. People are, they're cooped up.
Yeah.
In some cases, they're in very small spaces, not a lot of chance to get, and have some alone time, and you're kind of on top of each other. I get it. If that's you, if you're having any problems in your relationship, just turn on some 90 Day Fiance and you'll just feel so good about your partner. You'll just look over and be like, thank God I have you and not the no neck guy.
You mean Ed and Shoulders? I love Ed.
Ed and Shoulders. I haven't heard that one. I love it.
Shoulders, and then it turns out he's all good, and you can make fun of him, and he don't care, man. Ed is a rock star on 90 Day Fiance. He might be my favorite, man. I love the guy.
There's the one, I'm not sure the name, but like she left New Jersey or something to be with a man who lives in Ethiopia.
Baby girl, Lisa.
Oh my God. I love it because and then she gets there and she's shocked that the accommodations are not up to her standards. And it's like, it's Ethiopia.
The funny thing with baby girl Lisa, so it turns out she called him the N-word. So then they make believe that she was never on the show because they're doing all these other like kind of spin-offs and clip shows and whatnot. And baby girl Lisa is not on it because it turned out that in a fit of rage or something, she called him the N-word. And of course, in this cancer culture, politically correct world we live in, now the show's no good and we got to get rid of it. No one should see this.
I love that in this day and age that when something goes wrong or you do something wrong or something bad happens, it's not that we condemn you, it's not that we get mad at you, it's that we Joseph Stalin you. Yes. And we just and we just erase you from society. Like you never Gone with the Wind. Never happened. Never happened. It just doesn't exist anymore. Every now and then an old movie or show will come on. Undoubtedly 5 minutes in, I go, oh, well, this couldn't be made today.
Yeah, of course. Blazing Saddles is the classic example.
No chance. Blazing Saddles, one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Yeah,
no chance. Then you watch an old comedy special, like you'll watch a Richard Pryor special or an Eddie Murphy special, and you're like, all right, this was one of the greatest things of all time, and now we can watch it and be like, never show that again.
Well, the famous one with Eddie Murphy was it Delirious, where
Raw.
He had the whole bit? Was it Raw? He talks about the gays and he uses the F word. And I think all comedy should be fine no matter what. But it does make you a little uncomfortable listening to that bit in 2020. Oh my God.
It does. He talks about how in New York, I think they don't have sirens. They just put a gay guy on top of the ambulance, and then he starts wooing or something. I look at this stuff the same way in terms of sports. How some people compare, like, oh, Babe Ruth was a better player than Mike Trout, or Babe Ruth couldn't hit the pitching that Mike Trout could hit, or Jordan's better than Bill Russell, or when people compare generational players, they always say stuff like, well, yeah, but that was a different time. You have to do that with comedy, and,
of course,
and with all these movies where you just say, hey, that was a different time. That was good then. It was awesome then. If you watched it now, maybe not. People would have questions. People might be offended, but then it was fine. And look how far we've come as a society. So, hey, great. Like, I don't see why it has to be like, no, this never existed.
Yeah, why? Exactly right. I mean, you're using logic there, Brad Williams.
Sorry.
I'm all about that too. If it was fine for the time, now we're just talking about comedy and movies and basic fun culture. That's what I'm getting at. So if it was fun for the time it came out, then why the hell is it such a problem now that you now have to go back and redo a wrong or something, and now that person should never work again because they found something he did a long time ago when it was completely acceptable? It's crazy. I just want to finish with Eddie Murphy because it's really funny. So his early years there, well, not even his early years, in his prime, he had a lot of gay material in it, and some would think that he was against the gay community. And then it turns out that he was caught in an area helping a young lady because she was in distress. And it turned out that this individual was a what's the word we're allowed to use today? Transgender.
Transgender, yes.
Yes. So
yeah,
it's very interesting how some of that stuff plays out.
If you think about it, how progressive is that? Hey,
Yeah.
I'll make fun, but then I'll support.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. How do you feel as a comic with the whole cancel culture, and you have to worry every time you're on stage now because people are recording your sets, trying to get you in trouble, even though when you're working on these sets, maybe a word's wrong and you're still honing the damn thing, but a raw version of it gets out there, and next thing you know, they want to cancel you from comedy. And they ignore the fact that you're an actual performer, and the person on stage, Brad Williams, is not the same person when he's not on stage trying to make you laugh.
Patrice O'Neal said this in a Fox News interview, and it's awesome. You have to defend the attempt. The intent that we have is to entertain. The intent we have is to make you laugh. Nothing comes out perfect the very first time. We have to try. We have to spitball. How comedy works is that you go like probably way too far. Maybe the audience groans and you go, okay, well, that's not really funny. So let me tone it back a little bit. And then you find that sweet spot where, hey, it's funny. It's maybe a little edgy, but it's not too hard. Perfect. Done. Yeah. That works.
Yes.
And that's the process of it. So you have to defend the attempt. Yeah, you can say like, well, that comedian should have known that was not going to be. No, we don't. We don't know. There are things I've said on stage that I did not think was funny at all, and the audience laughed. And there are things that I've said on stage that I thought were hilarious and did not work. We don't know. No comedian has a perfect batting average. So we're just throwing stuff out there, and we're just trying to see what works and what entertains. Like, no comedian is going on stage with the intent of like starting a revolution or a race riot, or, like we're like, okay, now we're going to go burn down the police. Yeah. No, comedians should be judged by ha-ha or no ha-ha. Yeah. That is it. And then when a comic does a perfect joke for the time, then in 10 years when the line moves, you can't go back to that comic and be like, hey, see, this one's over the line. It's like, yeah, but at the time, I was playing with a completely different set of rules.
I love what you're saying here, and it's really, really important, especially for the youth of America. I'm starting to feel like my dad trying to tell the younger people how to act. But the job of a comedian, like you said, is to make you laugh, to catch you off guard, to say the things they're thinking, but they're not brave enough to say it. And, of course, to be funny, obviously. And when people start, like, blurring the line and think just because you have some outrageous, maybe Black Lives Matter joke, let's say, now they think you're a racist when they don't understand that you're taking a tough topic and turning it upside down and making people laugh. That's the whole goal of comedy, and people forgot that.
Some of the hardest laughs I've ever had in my life is when I was the most uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes.
And most of the criticism, of course, comes from people that haven't actually tried it or done it, or they don't know how hard it is. And so like they just say like, what? All you gotta do is be funny. It's like, it's not. Well, it's not like that, because if I go up on stage and there's no conflict in my jokes. If it's just, hey, I woke up, I looked next to me, I had my beautiful, wonderful, intelligent wife next to me. We both complimented each other. My baby child woke up very naturally, poops on her own. It's great. The dog is fantastic. And then I go to work. There's no conflict there.
Yeah.
There's no funny.
Yeah.
Now, if I do a joke about my wife and how like, oh, she says this thing and it pisses me off, am I saying that, well, my wife is a horrible human being and I'm going to divorce or I'm going to do something worse? No, of course not.
Right.
But there has to be some sort of conflict for there to be some sort of humor. There has to be a turn.
100%. If you're going to go after an outrageous topic, controversial topic, you better make sure it's funny, right?
Yes.
And I don't know. And the other thing, sorry, I was distracted, and I'll tell you why I was distracted. I'm looking at the ocean, and as much as I want to catch up with my friend Brad Williams, I just saw a guy run to his pole. It bent all the way over, and I'm like, God, why am I not fishing right now? that was my thought process as we're having this serious conversation. The other thing I did want to say was Patrice O'Neal, because, God, I love that guy. He made me understand a million years ago, and I don't care. I've said this many times, and I'll say it again. And it's a very important point about comedy, that you could take a topic very, very seriously and have passion for that, and also know how to make people laugh and make jokes about that. And I think people today are very confused by that. If you make some outrageous, let's say, oh, fuck it, you make some outrageous George Floyd joke, first of all, it better be really, really funny. But it doesn't mean that you support the police and what happened to George Floyd. You literally could be in a comedy club telling those jokes and catching people off guard and making them laugh over something that's really controversial. And then you could, after your set, go on the streets and actually protest for Black Lives Matter. And most people don't understand that that's actually possible.
I'm not one of these guys that says, like, oh, you have to like every crazy controversial joke. People are allowed to not like it. But to think that, okay, some comic does a joke about George Floyd, maybe it doesn't go that well, to think that that comic should now never work again for the rest of his or her life. That's where I have the problem. Where it's
enough already. Exactly. Because cancel culture is not real. You know that, right? And political correctness in general is not real. Most people don't even care about the things that are being canceled. But what they do care is getting points for their tribe. Everyone goes into a tribe, and now it's like, what can we do to hurt the other tribes? But their personal feelings, I believe, in general, they're not offended by half this stuff they're trying to get canceled.
No. If Bill Cosby was let out tomorrow and decided to do a show at a theater in the middle of a pandemic, it would sell out.
And I would go. I could separate the two. I think he's a big-time scumbag. But guess what? He came through Sirius XM, and he was in the green room, and the controversy, I do believe, already began. And guess what? Me, Jim Norton, and Bill Burr said, fuck that, I need a picture with Bill Cosby. But I think he's a terrible human being, but I can separate the two. And it goes to your point that you made earlier, okay? So Bill Cosby, I think he deserves to spend the rest of his life in jail. But I don't understand why they canceled the Cosby Show and everything that he ever did in his career, especially the Cosby Show, because there's some very, very, believe it or not, very good lessons that people could learn from that show, and it could help generations of people as they watch TV and go through life. But they're like, nope. Now that we know this about him, everything he's ever done, we got to get it off TV because it might trigger somebody.
You're not going to watch Gone with the Wind. You're not going to watch Bill Cosby. You're not going to listen to a Michael Jackson record unless you're looking for it, unless you're trying to find it. Right. I'm 36. I have trouble enough trying to find the damn Laker game. Yeah. You have to search for things. We have so many options nowadays. There's no reason to cancel anything because, hell, you can just go on YouTube and find it there anyway.
Yeah, they should have a disclaimer with the Cosby Show. Like, we know he's a terrible person, but boy, is this show terrific.
but really strong writing. You know what I mean? Just really strong writing.
I really believe that Michael Jackson's a pedophile. But, man, does he have catchy songs that I'll still bop to.
They're real catchy. Did you hear about that story when like the South Korean soccer league came back and they had sex dolls in the audience?
Oh yeah, I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. Yes,
hilarious.
Yeah, hilarious.
And then they said like, oh, they have to apologize for having the sex dolls in the audience. I'm like, who are they apologizing to?
Right.
Like, what's the apology for?
I know what the apology is, Brad. We apologize that we still can't figure out how to make them look like women.
Hey, man, I've said this joke on stage about this very topic, where I say, like, technically every doll is a sex doll if you try hard enough.
Yes, you know? My pillow was a sex doll when I was growing up. Are you kidding? And you roll up a couple, socks, and boy, now you got boobies. Too much information for everybody. I'm sorry. I was 13 years old, and what was I gonna do? We didn't have porn on our phones, you bitches.
Yeah, no. I'll say this. I'm 4'4", so I could totally hook up with a my size Barbie.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Are you really 4'4", or are you pushing an inch or two there, Brad Williams?
Yeah, I lied about. I mean, yeah, we all know men lie about a good 2 inches.
Yeah.
So
There you go. All right, hold on for a second, Brad Williams. Go check on your daughter, okay? I got this. Speaking of 2 inches, if you only have 2 inches down there, it don't matter as long as it works, right? Right. That's why I want to introduce you to Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. BLUE. BlueChew.com. Promo code OPIE, OPIE, to try it for free. Let's talk about something we could all use more of right now. Yes, sex. Great sex. And you don't want to be using that pillow with the socks. I can't believe I actually admitted that. But yeah, man, desperate times calls for desperate measures. I don't know what that means, but I do know that there was a time, man, wowee, boners all the time. Thus then, why the pillow and the socks that turn into boobies. Blue Chew brings you the first chewable with the same FDA-approved active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You can take them anytime, day or night, even on a full stomach. And since they're chewable, they work up to twice as fast as a pill, so you can be ready whenever an opportunity arises. It's prescribed online. You just go to BlueChew.com, promo code OPIE, OPIE, to try it for free. That's all you have to do, and it comes to your house in a discreet package, because we all have the nosy neighbors. Visit BlueChew.com and get your first shipment free when you use the special promo code OPIE, OPIE. Just pay $5 shipping. That's Blue, BLUE, BlueChew.com, promo code OPIE, OPIE, to try it for free. Blue Chew is the better, cheaper, faster choice, and of course, we thank them for sponsoring the podcast. All right, Brad Williams. Hey, by the way, congratulations on the daughter, man. And
thank you, buddy.
And how long have you been married now?
I've been married for coming up this October. It'll be 3 years.
Okay.
So that's coming up fast, and my daughter is 7 months old, and there is never a good time for a global pandemic, but the fact that I've gotten to essentially stay home this entire time and be with her, if I had to pick a time, this would definitely be the time.
I love being a father, but man, when my kids were 7 months old, like your daughter is, and they're crying, and we can't figure out why they're crying, and all hell's breaking loose in my house, I looked at my wife, I'm like, I'd love to help, but I got to go do the radio show, and I got my breaks. I'm sure there's times where you're like, oh my God, I wish Columbus, Ohio would call so I could get back on the road. I need 2 days off. I need sleep.
Yeah. During this global pandemic, I've done 5 weeks on the road.
Wow.
And I think that is why. Because I needed those breaks where I just need to be like, okay, I need to sleep. When I'm in my hotel room on the road, I just kind of sit there in silence, and it's wonderful.
My wife used to call when the kids were young, and we were still doing a little bit of traveling, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm doing absolutely nothing." And it was the greatest thing ever.
Just to do
awesome.
nothing.
And to hear that silence, you're right, just complete silence. It was awesome. You named your daughter Elway, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
And is it after the man?
You're damn right.
Oh my God, you named your daughter after that rockhead?
Hopefully she doesn't look like him. I'll take it if she doesn't look like him.
No, she's adorable. I've seen pictures that you've posted. She's absolutely adorable. But you were that big of a Elway fan, huh?
He was it for me. The craziest part, it wasn't even my idea. It was my wife's idea. Like I like very traditional names. My wife she's kind of a hippie from San Francisco. She likes very unusual names. Like she was yelling stuff out like, let's name her Persephone. And I'm like, you mean Stephanie, right? And she's like, no, Persephone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a horrible idea. What is that? And she's like, oh, it's a Greek goddess or something. I'm like, the goddess of what? Stupid fucking names. Like it was, and we're just going back and forth and we're arguing. And then she looks up on my wall and I have a signed Elway jersey. And she goes, oh, what about Elway? And I just, like, my gut reaction was, hell no, I'm not going to name my daughter after my favorite quarterback. That's lame. Yeah. But then I started thinking about it. And I'm like, you can call her Ellie, Elway Williams. That's a cool sounding name. So I thought, yeah, let's do it. And John knows, by the way. John knows.
Wow, that's so cool. First of all, it's a really good name when you could get the visual of John Elway and his giant head out of your brain.
Yeah,
I'm saying that to a little person. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Elway has a giant head.
When you're not thinking about the teeth, it is a good name.
Even better.
Absolutely.
See, that's why you're the comic. There you go. That's how I should have went. Very good.
There you go. She was born in January, and then in December, I got a phone call from the vice president of the John Elway car dealership company. He owns like five car dealerships or something. And they called me and said, hey, we're having our Christmas party. We hear you're a big fan and that you're a great comic. So do you want to come perform at the Christmas party? John's going to be there.
Wow.
So I got to go and perform while like my childhood hero is staring at me in a suit that costs more than my house.
Oh my God.
And just watch him laugh. And I got to tell him, yes, I'm naming my daughter Elway. I said, John, just do me one favor. Like, don't fuck up the name. Okay. Like, yes, we are living in a time of cancel culture. There is some guy out there that's like, this is my son. I named him after my favorite comedian. Say hello, Cosby. Like that's a thing that you kind of have to worry about. Right. So I was like, John, just please, just don't.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw that you posted online that he went to one of your shows recently, right?
That was last Saturday. He came out to one of my shows in Denver. I texted him and said, hey man, I know it's a pandemic and I know the football season is just getting underway, so I completely understand. But if you want to come out, I'm doing my show. And he brought 8 people and sat there, and then came back and said hi afterward, socially distancing, doing all those things. But it's unbelievable, and it's something that I hope never gets boring to me. The fact that I can text my childhood hero and that he responds, it's insane.
Is so cool. You weren't social distancing, Brad. As your friend, be more careful. I saw the group photo
here. So
although the germs might be flying over your head,
see, that's the thing. I don't think dwarves can get it.
I'm sorry.
People talk, and then those freaking droplets right over my head.
Oh no, fine. It's raining coronavirus. No, I think it's even worse now that I think about it.
That's why I'm wearing a hat.
Yeah. Good for you though. What changed in you when you became a father?
I would say that now, like, things actually matter. Like, now I have to think about things not just for myself, but for someone else. And as a comic, like, I'll be honest, the comedian lifestyle is very selfish. You know, you sleep till whenever, you go up on stage, you hang out all night. But now, like, that can't happen. Like, every decision I have to make now is now like, okay, how is this gonna affect my kid?
Yeah.
We live in a great house right now. It's fantastic, but one of the reasons why I was able to afford a great house is because it's in a shitty school district. And now I got to think to myself, oh man, I got to move. Like, I got to move to a better school district where she's got more opportunities. So yeah, that kind of stuff happens.
Jim Brewer gave me the best, not the best advice, but the best thing on fatherhood. So he goes, when you become a father, you're going to instantly realize that you can actually kill a human being. And I'm like, I go, bro, you're fucking crazy, man, right? I can't tell you how many times I walk around New York City with my kids, especially when they were younger. First of all, pointing out all the pedos. For some reason, like a switch goes on in your head, and you can now see like everybody on the street much more clearer, and you can pick out the people. And I bet you that my batting average would be pretty damn good picking out these creeps. And you also realize, holy fuck, Brewer was right.
Yeah, that's oh man, that's smart.
Now, she's 7 months old, right?
7 months old tomorrow.
All right, so you only got, I'll push it for you. You got about 4 months left. Because right now you got her corralled, right? You could watch her. You could do all sorts of things because you're like, okay, you're right there with that one toy, and I know you can't swallow that toy, so we're good for a while. Yeah. When they start really moving and especially walking, oh my, your whole day is counting how many times you saved their life. It's unbelievable. And you think you got your house child-proof, and you realize there's always something, and they always find that something.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
I have a little bit of an advantage because my wife or my daughter is a dwarf, so she's not going to be walking for a little while longer because the head's a little too big. So
now I feel bad that I made that dumb joke earlier. I'm sorry. I should have went with the teeth, and then we both would have laughed, and it wouldn't have been uncomfortable. But I feel like why hold back with you? We're friends, and whatever.
Don't worry about it. But we're good.
But with that said, in your lifetime, Brad, you're what, like 36, 37, I think? You're upper 30s
37.
Now? 37,
37.
Okay.
Good call.
So you've seen, like, the life of a little person change dramatically even in your lifetime, right?
Yeah. Like, we have a presence on TV and in movies that isn't just, like, the crazy person in the costume. You know, now it's like, okay, you have all these reality shows where there's a bunch of little people just being themselves on it. You have obviously Peter Dinklage. You have guys like me out there doing stand up.
Yep.
There's more of a representation in the popular culture that's not just, oh, this is the Oompa Loompa, or this is the leprechaun, or this is whatever.
Right.
So that's pretty great. You know what? Oh, you're my friend, so I can tell you this story because it ties all the way in with the pandemic. As I've gotten older, my arms are very small. My back starts getting a little bad as I get older. I'm not as flexible as I used to be, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's gotten a little harder for me to wipe my ass. Okay. Little harder for me to wipe my ass. You know, I gotta do some.
I didn't expect you to go
yoga.
There. Yeah.
I got to do yoga right when I wake up in the morning so I can be flexible enough to wipe my ass, okay?
Right.
But then the pandemic hits, right? And now what's the thing that everyone is fighting over during the pandemic? Toilet paper,
yeah.
Okay? One thing I did when I realized that, oh, crap, like everyone's going to fight over toilet paper, I don't want to be that person, is I just went on Amazon and I bought a bidet,
Beautiful.
I bought a bidet,
good for you.
Bought a bidet, put it on the toilet. Oh my God, where has this thing been all my life? This is the greatest.
But I always thought it made you kind of squishy back there after you were done, though.
Mine's got a fan.
Nice. Real nice.
Mine's got a fan. Mine's got a heated seat. Yeah. I got the Mercedes-Benz of bidets. It's like, beautiful. Spend money on your TV, spend money on your mattress, spend money on your bidet.
You came through our studio a whole bunch of years ago. In my head, I didn't even think that you were a little person anymore. You know what I mean? It didn't even cross my mind. Even, I'm looking at you, but maybe for a split second, and I was more than over that. And in my lifetime, I fell in love with Little People, Big World and the roll-offs. But I got to be honest with you, when I first saw it, that show's got to be on TV, oh, God, I don't even know at this point, maybe 15 years. I'm not going to lie. At first, it was on TLC, and TLC had a way of kind of bringing unusual people on TV and making believe that, they had a story to tell when they knew that it was, people wanted to just kind of stare and sadly maybe point and laugh back then. But I think
yeah.
we've come a long way. And now
Yeah.
I watch Little People Big World and the Roll-Offs, and I barely even think of them as little people at this point.
There you go. You've done it. And that is the point when you reach whatever group you're in.
Yeah.
That is the point when you've reached true acceptance.
Thank you.
It's this weird thing that like the super woke people want nothing but to point out the differences and be aware of the differences.
Right.
And my mind, as someone who has a very obvious difference, is but you want to know when you feel the best as someone who's different when no one's pointing it out.
Right.
When you're just there and it's complete acceptance, or you make a joke and then you stop, and you go, oh wait, Brad's a dwarf. He may be pissed off at that joke. The fact that wasn't in your head before, that you just made the joke, perfect.
Yeah.
Acceptance. That's the goal. Because that's how you are with your friends.
Right.
So 1,000% agree.
Yeah, I said thank you at the beginning of that because I've preached for a group to have complete acceptance in society. I think they have to learn to not take themselves so seriously and also be able to take jokes.
Yes.
About their group, because if you're joking about other groups, why can't we make jokes about you and your group? It doesn't mean that there's hate in our heart. I feel like that's when you get that acceptance, when it's okay to joke about it. But I don't know. But I think we're a long way away from that being accepted in society.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think the vast majority of people don't think to that kind of extreme. Where at least the ones I've been around, thankfully, I'm going to comedy clubs. A lot of comedy clubs. That's why people are going to comedy clubs, is because that's like this place that they feel that they can finally go and finally hear a bad joke or an inappropriate joke or something that society deems offensive. That's why people are going there. You have some people saying, you know what, fuck you, it's funny, I'm going to watch, I'm going to laugh.
Yeah. Oh, bravo. Well said. I didn't know you were discovered at a Carlos Mencia show.
Yeah.
I had no idea, man.
Yeah.
So what,
I was discovered.
You were in the audience, and how did he point you out?
Father's Day weekend, 2004. And he was on stage, and it was at the Brea Improv. I brought my dad to see him, and Mencia's on stage, and he starts making midget jokes. The audience on the other side of the comedy club laughing. The audience that is sitting right around me, silent, just dead quiet, just like I don't know. And they're great jokes, so I laughed. It was great. He stops and he tells the audience, like, why aren't you guys laughing at these jokes? Like, these are funny. I know these are funny jokes. And he just asks, he goes, what? Is one of them here? And I just raised my creepy little hand in the air, like, yeah, what's up, dude? And he called me up on the stage, and he wanted to talk to me. And he asked me questions, and I answered the questions. I answered the questions honestly. I didn't have jokes. I wasn't trying to be funny. But my answers got laughs from the audience, and that was the moment where I'm like, I'm doing this. Right. I'm gonna be a stand-up comic. This is the greatest fucking feeling in the world.
That's so cool. And I'm gonna tell you why Carlos Mencia is a great comic. I don't know your status with him these days, but we text. So Joe Rogan calls him out famously, and as well as Joe Rogan should have at the time. For stealing people's jokes and all that. And he went through hell and back, Carlos Mencia. And fast forward a bunch of years, me and Anthony are just fucking rock stars, and we're doing that comedy tour.
Traveling Virus.
Yeah, Traveling Virus in front of 10, 15,000 people, outdoor shells. And the people that were helping us, book that thing, they wanted to get Carlos Mencia on one of the shows. And we're like, oh, boy, I don't know. Because, Rogan was pretty vocal about it. And our audience definitely embraced what Rogan had to say about that whole thing. So I would have to say at the time, our audience was not really fans of Carlos Mencia. But we got him on the show, and we said, wow, this is going to be really, really interesting, And it was time for his set. And I think we even put him in the closing spot, if I'm not mistaken, or close to it. Do you know this story?
Oh, yeah, because he called me right after it happened.
Okay, great. So he gets on stage, And it's intimidating. It's a tough spot. There's a lot of drunk people, a lot of hardcore O&A fans, and they're not really supporting Carlos Mencia, and they almost can't even believe that he's even on the bill because we have other big names. I'm not sure if Louis C.K. was at that particular show or Patrice O'Neal. Yes, I'm bragging a little bit, or Bill Burr, but these guys were all part of that Virus tour at the time. And I remember all the comics were peeking through the curtains because they were curious, like, how the fuck is he going to navigate all of this controversy in front of these people? And they start booing, kind of like the Bill Burr thing in Philly. They weren't going to let Carlos Mencia do his thing, you know? And one joke after another, he's just funny as all hell, and he's just punching and punching and punching his way through it. And he was beyond hilarious, where everyone was cheering and pretty much gave him a standing ovation. Not as big as the whole Bill Burr thing, which has become, you know, legendary, obviously, but in an incredible set, in an incredible tough situation. And he tells his final joke. It gets a massive laugh, and you could see he just breathed a sigh of relief, looks at the crowd, and just throws the mic down hard, like, there you go, motherfuckers, and walks off. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. A comic turning everybody around like that. So that's why he's a great comic, because he was in a spot that was almost impossible, and he got through it. What did he say to you after that set? I've never heard the other side of this.
He just called me, and I believe his first words were, "I'm gonna be okay."
Awesome. Good for him.
Because I can only imagine the kind of relief that was going through his head at that point.
Yeah, right on, man. God, Brad, I miss you, brother. It's been way too long. Yeah.
I will say this, and I know I've told you this, but for your listeners, back when you were on Sirius, there was a time I was single. I was alone in New York. I was doing shows, and it was the weekend of my birthday. And I'm not even a big birthday guy, but when no one's acknowledging it, you're just like, man, do I not matter? Do people not care? Yada yada. Like, all these thoughts are going in my head. I go to do your radio show. All of a sudden, door bursts open. All your sidekicks are like walking in with cakes and streamers and all kinds of things. You guys celebrated my birthday. I didn't tell you about it. I didn't say it was my birthday. And yeah, that was such a cool feeling. And thank you again for that, man.
Oh, no worries. Know what the best part of that whole story is? I remember, because you're a comic. You're looking around like, okay, where's the bit? Where's the joke? You know, you were prepared for the twist. And I'm like, no, man, it's just your birthday. And we felt like, why not celebrate his birthday? He's away from home. He's in New York, and let's just do this. And then it was almost like a sigh of relief, like, oh, okay, there's no over-the-top gag that's about to happen. We're just celebrating my birthday. And you know, because I knew it would just add to the radio show, and it would make you and everybody else kind of more festive as well. And it worked, man, and we had a good time, man. We bonded.
Once I could start traveling a lot again, like, how far are you away from New York? I know you're by the sea. You're the old man in the sea now.
Oh no, look me up. I'm just scared, man. I mean, we don't really go back to New York City, and we're debating leaving New York City behind, to be completely honest with you, but New York is just scary to me, man. There's way more people. So when you're dealing with the pandemic, there's just so many more chances. It's almost impossible to keep away from people. And then you got even more attitudes in New York where people don't want to wear their mask because it's their freedom. It's their right. God damn it.
I mean,
and you're like, all right, I understand that, but could you please, you know, I'm worried.
Here's my thing. Here's my thing on the whole mask situation. Okay.
Yeah.
What I always have to think about, that you could be wrong. You could be wrong. All right. No matter what your opinion is, you could be wrong. If the wear your mask people are wrong, okay, we all looked kind of silly and we all wore masks and it wasn't a big deal, but we wore masks because we were trying not to kill each other. Yeah. Okay. If the I'm not wearing a mask people are wrong, people die.
Yeah.
So you just kind of, you just have to, you kind of got to look at it like, okay, if I'm wrong.
Oh, really, Brad? Why don't you tweet that statement right now and then spend the next 2 days seeing everybody argue that simple fact. I personally agree with you, but they'll even argue that. Early on in this pandemic, I said, "Oh my God, we're gonna make the mask political." No, let's not do that. We can make everything else political. Let's not make the mask political. And sure enough, as we record this, it's incredibly political.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. We're just dumb.
We're all dumb. That's the thing. Nobody knows. No, everyone thinks they know. Everyone thinks like, "Oh, I read one article on one site, so I know what's happening." Dude, there was a kid. When everything was locked down, we all rushed to the stores and everything. I was in a grocery store, and a kid in a crowded grocery store just yelled at the top of his lungs. He pointed right at me and yelled, "Look what it did to him."
Sorry. See, I'm still careful, but that's really funny.
It's funny. Okay. He thought that he thought I was walking around at a confident 6'4", and then someone coughed on me, and it was I don't know. It was like Super Mario getting hit by a Goomba.
Getting squishy. Yeah.
Dude, I always like talking to you. You're one of the coolest guys in this industry, and you're a damn professional, and it's just always a pleasure, my friend.
Oh, you know what? We could keep this episode going. Oh.
Sure, I'll just keep slurping you. Why not?
It's thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that, and you're okay too. It's always awkward to now have to. No, I really like Brad Williams. He's really funny. His Twitter's Funny Brad. Anything else you want to promote, by the way?
I'm on Cameo, man. Cameo's how I'm paying some fucking bills. So go to Cameo, and if you're not familiar with what the site is, it's where like you pay a celebrity to like give a shout out to a friend of yours or like wish him happy birthday or something like that. Dude, some of the most creative things I've gotten. I had to tell someone's ex-girlfriend that her pussy was stanky. That was fun. So that's on Cameo somewhere.
That's an important service, by the way.
Well done, right?
I had one. My first girlfriend.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy, was it bad. To this day, when I'm fishing and low tide hits, I'm triggered. I'm not even joking, dude. It was so bad, and I understand it, man. I was such a newbie. I truly thought every woman smelled like that. That's how pathetic I was. I've come a long way.
You're like, that's what I have to do. That's what I have to endure every time I go down there. Oh boy.
Yeah, I would be going south, as they say, and I'd just be in tears and thinking, my friend said how awesome this is. I don't understand. But I found out how awesome it actually is.
There you go.
Anyway.
Well done.
All right, Brad Williams.
DJ Khaled, you are not.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No matter what, just be safe, everybody. Whatever that is to you, just be safe.
I hear you loud and clear, and congrats on your daughter and your wife and everything else. Keep moving forward, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. I will.
Boo, 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 boo.
Opie Radio.
Boo, 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 boo. Boom, boom, boom. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.